Hello, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing alright. It's time for another recap. I tried to cut it down. There's too much happening. So now's the time. Now's your warning. Grab a tea, a warm blanket. Oh my god, a warm blanket would be so good right now. But go get cozy and I will guide you through chapter 2. Feel powerful. The party have successfully raided the wild elf camp. Yay! They did it. They murdered a lot of people. What the fuck happens after that? Oh yeah, they go to Rosehold. They're on their way there with Arvel guiding them with a broken leg. And they follow a stream. Eventually they start making their way out of the woods, but hold up, wait a minute, put some goblins in it and Lucius gets attacked and almost gets knocked down. They keep on making their way despite the difficulties when Quill spots a chasm. Oh shit, here it comes. And Nova's like, hey, I know what that is. That's a dwarven town called Dwarlenden that was destroyed during the Sundering. Sentry's all like, I know Dwarlenden. They trade with Solvin, right? Like they're a trading town. And Quill and Nova are like, they don't trade anymore, bruh. It's been destroyed. And then they learn that Sentry was alive during the Sundering, which happened hundreds of years ago. Poor old Sentry, guess what? The sadness continues as she tells the party about her home of Solvin, which she's very excited to get back to. And again, the party are like, nah, bruh, sorry. Solvin's all gone. Sank into the ocean. She was all excited to go home, and now she can't, because it's in the water now. It's in a place called the Hawkstorm Archipelago. Sentry was placed in a suspended sleep for hundreds of years, and that's how she was able to survive for so long. However, Sentry was around about 13 when she was placed in her sleep, and Guardians only live for about 15 years or so, so she's also got like 2 years left to live. The party make a plan to head to the Hawkstorm at some point in the future, keen to help their construct friend. Arvel suggests the team keeps pushing on and making their way to Rosehold, but he also kind of hints at the treasure that could lay inside the chasm. Shortly afterwards, the party finally arrive at the gates of Rosehold. Ayla's wild elf appearance causing a little bit of unease among the guards, but the party managed to convince them to let them in. And finally, the group have reached a town. A town, you say? Finally finding refuge after their long trek, the group settle down in the cozy inn known as the Brazen Heart for some dinner. The innkeeper Rosalina is warm and kind and happily tends to the party's needs. And after dinner, the group set out exploring the town a little bit, where they find Temple of Palador, and they inquire with a priest there about finding a healing spell for Arvel's leg. But the group almost lose their dinner when they find out that it costs 300 gold for the material components needed to cast the spell. The priest tells the group to speak to Malek, the field warden, about possible mercenary work that might be needed to be done around the town. That way they could fund the gold needed to complete the ritual. So the group go immediately and knock on Malek's door, and a large, rustic, very tired looking man opens the door in the middle of his dinner and tells the party about work that needs doing around the town. During their discussion, the group of them feel like they're being watched. Malek informs the party they're from the Brookstone family that reside on the outskirts of town and that they're not to be trusted, before wishing the group a good night and returning to his dinner. The party return to the Brazen Heart and get a good night's sleep, and in the morning they meet in the inn to weigh up their options. They have 2 jobs to choose from. The party decide to completely ignore the options that have been given to them, to venture out of Rosehold and return to the chasm at the potential of treasure and knowledge. Definitely not purely for the treasure buried within. It's all, it's for the greater good. And so the group excitedly start making their way to Dwarlenden. Hitching ropes around rocks, the team begin abseiling down the treacherous trough, but Quill manages to lose his grip with his one wing and falls, taking some really gnarly damage. And as he falls, the rope loosens and falls into the chasm with the rest of the party. They come across an ancient blacksmith's and find a magic hammer in a locked chest. The party are attacked by a forge guardian! Rah! A great hulking steel construct with a great big furnace burning in its center, spewing out plumes of smoke and fire. It's kind of badass, actually. I can't not hate it. I want that. That's a thing that I would like. In a violent and mindless rage, the construct battles on furiously, but eventually they take it down. After the battle, Sentry connects to the Forge Guardian's matrix, witnessing its last present memories before the Sundering occurred. And as they explore a little bit more, they end up finding an old spheroid construct. Lucius manages to use his strange magic to connect with the Echo and witnesses a peaceful life in a forgery. A construct and its companion, peaceful, working in a small dwarven Elven village. The party decide they need a little bit of a rest, so they settle down for the night, and while they're resting, Sentry begins having these weird visions of a resplendent golden winged guardian, and it gives her one very strange and vague instruction to find the Prime. Day 2 in the cavern. After some rest, the party have enough magical energy to use what they have available to them to try and find a way out of the cave. Nova uses her levitate spell and manages to secure the rope back into the rock surface, allowing the party a way out. The group have found plenty of spoils and riches, magical artifacts, jewels, gold, so they make their way out and begin the day-long trek back to Rosehold. They're on the road for an entire day and night, and during this night, Nova and Lucius wake to hear some really weird noises. They decide to go and check it out, and they discover a small group of bovine monsters grazing in the grass nearby. To Lucius, these creatures are huge, hulking, terrifying beasts, but to Nova, they're just cows. Lucius decides to lay waste to these horrible creatures, and Nova, egging him on, kinda messed up, lets him cast spells at these cows. 2 of them explode, just plain and simple. Lucius kills 2 cows. The other one, oddly dexterous, and does a barrel roll out of the way. It's canon, it happened. Lucius and Nova make their way back to the party afterwards, and Lucius is thrilled. He's the hero. He did it. He destroyed these beasts. The rest of the party are absolutely horrified. Anyway, moving on. Dawn is fast approaching, so the group get back on the road and they make their way safely to Rosehold. They sell their treasures and they make enough money to fix Arvel's broken leg. And all is well. The circle is complete. Everyone is happy. It's all gone very well. The party's newfound wealth draws a lot of popularity among the villagers. I mean, they do say money brings friends, so many a friend this party now has. But in a gesture of goodwill, the adventurers set up a charity fund as a thanks to the town for welcoming them in and giving them somewhere safe to stay. Nova is keen to acquire a healing spell from the Palador priest, but soon learns that the powers from the gods are not so easily shared around. Lucius and Quill get to know Vala a little bit more, and they soon learn that her powers come from a strange, unknown origin, and she has no memory of ever acquiring them, but they encourage her to keep using it as a way to keep herself safe. During the evening, the party settle down for a little bit of a celebratory dinner, and as they're eating, an old man approaches their table. He introduces himself as Brett Brookstone, head of the mining facility that operates on the outside of town. He extends an invitation to the party to join him for a family dinner to dispel any of these bad rumours that have been circulating about him around town. You know, I'm sure they're for absolutely no reason at all. With Malek's warning still ringing in their ears, the party settle down to enjoy a long evening, getting to know the Brookstone family, and despite their initial concern, they actually have a really nice time. And as the evening draws late, the party say their goodbyes and head back to the inn to get some rest. But a sorry sight is there to greet them. Vala's caretakers, Corin and Yusuf, lay dead in the stable. A horrible fight had taken place. Arvel and Rosalina are distraught. Through sobs, Rosalina tells the party that Vala had been kidnapped while they were gone, and she was taken by a giant grey-skinned Goliath that travelled through shadows and just attacked out of absolutely nowhere. No one saw it coming. And with that, the party rush into action, borrowing horses from the stables and making their way, following the directions Rosalina gave them. Far from the safety of Rosehold, the group managed to eventually catch up to the Goliath in Ironwick Forest. The Goliath hands Vala off to 2 companions that slink along the trees. The Goliath deals unfathomable damage to the party. It's brutal. Quill has one of his eyes gouged out. Lucius breaks one of his legs, and Nova is just distraught at the strength of this Goliath and the devastation it's bringing to the party. She doesn't know what to do. No one does. This is the strongest thing this party has ever fought so far. The group keep boosting each other up, egging each other to keep on fighting despite their injuries. They heal as much as they can, and tirelessly they fight on, eventually bringing down the Goliath. They take a quick moment to assess their injuries and to see if they can move on, determined to rescue Vala, and they push forward. With desperate intention, they eventually catch up to the 2 accomplices who are struggling to make their way through the woodland. One of them is dispatched, and the second one Ayla uses rope to tie up. Ayla and Nova interrogate her, and they soon learn that she is one of Brett Brookstone's daughters, and the other is her brother, who now lays dead beside her. The party retrieve Vala and are victorious, but broken, and they slowly head back into Rosehold, a captive in tow, and Vala finally safe. Along the way, they find out that Vala is extremely valuable, and the party are warned that worse things will be coming for them to take that bounty on Vala. Worse things than that Goliath. As the group get closer to Rosehold, they pass a very strange sight, an elven palace with flowers in bloom as if it were spring, but in the dead of winter. The structure intrigues Ayla, with her wanting to know more about her wild elf origins. The group slowly make their way back to Rosehold, their injuries making the journey longer than it needed to be, and they find Merrick and the Brazen Heart handing over Thea, the Brookstone daughter, to bring to justice. The party tell them what they discovered, and they begin the process of prosecution when suddenly a small ruckus starts building outside, and a small group, led by Brett Brookstone, start making their way towards the tavern. Brett Brookstone wearing chest armor with a greatsword slung over his back. This is not going to be a peaceful confrontation. Malik rushes off to find the Harvest Guard and bring reinforcements, and the party meet Brett Brookstone outside to stall him. Tensions mount, and a furious Quill inquires a little too hard for a confession from Brett Brookstone, telling Brett about his son, who now lays dead in Ironwick Forest. Brett is furious and launches into combat, and the exhausted party are once again forced to fight. During the madness, Vala unleashes her powerful purple magic, aiming it towards Brett, and with Ayla reacting super quickly, using her hammer to knock Brett unconscious before any more damage can be done. Merrick and the Harvest Guard show up just in time. They manage to apprehend Brett, and they throw him and his daughter in jail. The party finally get the rest that they've been longing for days, and Lucius managed to heal his wounds at the Temple of Palador as a thanks from the town. Quill gets a really cool eye patch from the blacksmith, so losing an eye, not the worst thing, but definitely better things could have happened. The party are now recovered, and thanks to the good people at Rosehold, they're fully stocked on supplies too, ready to plan their next leg of the journey. The group bid farewell to Rosehold, especially keen not to get Brookstoned once again. And that about wraps it up for Aerois Chapter 2. Hope you enjoyed that one, but I will see you for Chapter 3, where more of the story will continue, because it's coming. It's on its way. Okay. I never know how to end, so I guess the best way to end is to say goodbye and do a little wave. So I will say goodbye. See you soon.